The representation of women at board level is increasing at JSE listed companies, demonstrating a collective buy-in from listed companies to bring more women to the table on a transformation agenda. Some of the companies gathered in Midrand at the Development Bank of Southern Africa to take stock of a report by a company, Business Engage, that has for 5 years done work with some JSE listed companies on their gender policies.
We all know that we aren't there yet, but if we look at the 5 years journey, there has been progress made in every single aspect. So in terms of non-executive directors, I think you must though realize that we are only tracking those companies that are in good standing on the JSE. So when you look at our stats, they are on a smaller number of the companies. But we are looking at, if you look at the non-executive directors, we're now sitting at a third of non-executive directors. And no, we aren't at the parity that we're looking at, but you've got to start somewhere.
The report indicates that 296 companies were listed at the time of the survey, but only 249 could take part in the process. The report also shows that approximately 1 in 4 women are holding positions of financial directors at the JSE, with those that formed part of a panel discussion on the gender agenda agreeing that more still needs to be done.
The gender bias or unconscious bias, I think it's one of the biggest obstacles to building an inclusive economy. And if companies can make an effort to look and do introspection, to see where they are, where they're based, how they're thinking, how their own approaches are actually preventing them from driving diversity within the organization, because change needs to happen from within. If it's always influenced from the outside, it's not going to be sustainable. So I think that's really key.
The day also saw human resource issues and BEE compliance coming under the spotlight.
We are actually ahead. The averages of the JSE, Vodacom, our board representation is more than 40%. And that didn't come out of nothing. It came because we set ourselves stretching ambitions, stretching goals, and we then tirelessly work through all the steps to make sure that we achieve our goals. And more importantly, one of our biggest subsidiaries, which is the SA Business, has actually even gone beyond gender parity. We now have more than 60% of our executive committee who are females.
Nedbank sponsored the research process on gender transformation at the JSE and says more still needs to be done on inclusivity in line with international best practice.
As a country, we are very far behind, and that is through the fact that it is we are turning a very, very long bus with a lot of history, and we want to turn the tide. It's taking time, and also there's so many people that we need to convince that this is the right thing to do. And also, it's not just saying this is what we need to do. We need to tell people why transformation is important.
Business Engage says it will continue to monitor adherence to the JSE listed requirements for the gender agenda on women inclusion in the economic value chain. The JSE has a woman at the helm in CEO Leila Fori, and JSE listed companies have a policy on gender at board levels, with the requirements being to see this policy through and to report to their stakeholders. Katlego Logodi, SABC News, Midrand.